The Blizzard Arena is alive with a packed audience who are all here to see history in the making. After a 5-week regular season, the regional playoffs, high stakes, win or go home bracket play, it all comes down to just 4 teams, 4 stories, 4 sets of protagonists, but only one of them will be able to call themselves Heroes of the Dorm. My name is Albert Halloran Haley III, and it's my pleasure to be on the desk for this historic moment with none other than Gilly Weed and Dunk Train. Gilly, the energy in this room right now is insane.
Oh yes, the atmosphere for Heroes of the Dorm is always electric, and I, for one, am thrilled to be in the thick of it. Because as you said, Halloran, it all comes down to just 3 best-of-5 matches to determine who earns this tuition for their college careers and the title of 2018 Heroes of the Dorm.
And that's not the only thing. This event represents the culmination of so much hard work and effort of these players, and everyone here can get behind the fact that all of these players are finishing college. They are ready to move on, and they want to show it on this stage.
This is a story that's been years in the making, and these matches feel fated to be. We're going to be starting off with an absolute bang with Kentucky. Scratch 'em. Last year, they made it to the Heroic Four, the only ones to return. They're going to be taking on what feels like the entire country of Canada over at Laval. And after that, we'll have Buffalo, the #1 seed Slayers, taking on the Dorm stalwarts, Cal Poly Pomona. These matches are going to be poetic. You got, on the side of Kentucky taking on Laval, Kentucky's only lost 1 match to Laval University. On the other side, Buffalo in the entire tournament has lost 1 match to Cal Poly Pomona. It is only right to have these 2 teams clash again right here at the Heroic Four, and I am so excited to see it.
I am too. I feel like the stories for Heroes of the Dorm have never been better than this very Heroes of the Dorm. Take our first match, Laval versus Kentucky. Kentucky stole the hearts of Heroes of the Dorm fans everywhere last year as 2 sets of brothers coming together as one family within Heroes of the Storm. But Laval, the first team in the history of Heroes of the Dorm from Canada to make it to the Heroic Four, and you know they want to be the first Canadian team to become the Heroes of the Dorm.
Meanwhile, in our second semifinal, we have another fantastic matchup between the mysterious challenger Dark Horse, who came in and swept the #1 seed to get their spot here in the form of Buffalo. Meanwhile, Cal Poly Pomona had to go through a drag-out, knockdown fight to get here in that 5-game set. But was that the fire that's going to temper their mettle, or will they crack under the pressure?
Well, we're definitely about to find out, but you can find out the story of the remaining teams by heading over to heroesofthedorm.com. You get to hear about their story, their journey, in their own words, and also find out some insight to what heroes like to play to give yourself an edge in the matches to come.
Meanwhile, we could not have done this without the fine folks over at TESPA. They have helped so much coordinating, providing local chapters for these players. You can even found your own chapter. If you want to look into TESPA in your region, make sure you check out their website, tespa.org. Or you just want to keep up with all the sick collegiate esports, make sure you check them out on Twitter at Team TESPA.
I want to give a special shout out as well to Patrick, Bernard, and everyone working behind the scenes. Without them, this show would not be possible. So very much, guys, thank you. But I have a question. Are you guys ready for the first match?
Oh, I think they are.
Okay. I thought as much. Without any further ado, we're going to introduce you to the 4th member of our broadcast team, Anna Prosser Robinson. Anna, how's it going over there?
It's going fantastic because I'm looking at one of the best crowds in esports. Am I right? And you have come to see Heroes of the Dorm, and you know why? Because lives are going to be changed tonight. Stories are going to be told tonight, and you know what that means for us? Some top quality Heroes of the Storm gameplay! I can't wait to get into these games, and I know that you can't either, so it is my distinct privilege to introduce you to our teams. First, please meet this band of brothers.
Hello, my name is Michael Pina. My in-game name is Zabatak. I am doing a double degree, computer and mechanical engineering.
I'm Daniel Pina, and my in-game name is Pickaboo, and my major is psychology.
I'm Mike Diddert. My in-game name is Kwanzar, and I'm getting a degree in chemistry.
I'm Roger Diddert. I'm Roger That, and I'm getting a degree in nursing.
My name is Noah Overby. My in-game name is Go Going, and my degree is in mechanical engineering.
What's our favorite moment here as the dorm so far? Probably just getting to this point, finally getting back. You know, we said before, but it's not a feeling of achievement, it's a feeling of relief. So we're not really satisfied up until this point. We're not like, oh, we've done it. So hopefully our favorite part is still ahead of us.
They're just fun to hang around with. They're always joking with each other, playing with each other. The family dynamic really plays into that. It's hard to talk about Kentucky without just really rooting for them, and they're so energetic.
I guess having my brother on the team helped like mesh initially. Like obviously last year it helped out a lot because like it was just the Didderts and the Peanuts on the team. So we added Noah this year. I don't know. I don't think that like necessarily is our strategy, just like being comfortable, but it does certainly help in game, especially like when like the pressure's on or something. Like we can trust each other.
I'm not nervous about the stage or like, you know, these interviews anymore. Like that was really a thing that I focused on last year. I was like, oh, we have to do, you know, media and then this and this. And it was all really cool, but it was a lot to take in.
It certainly isn't like comfortable or something that we're used to, but it's not like new and different. Like it's not like making us like any more nervous about playing the set, or it's not taking our mind off the set.
I remember last year, I died at like the outset of game 1, and a guy just came over the camera and pointed at my face, and I went, I hate you right now. So this year, I'm gonna, as soon as I feed, I'll go, where's the guy with the camera? And I go, hey, there he is.
I always thought this tournament was really cool, just like as an idea. So like I actually went to Mike's apartment or wherever you were and like just watched him play. Because I just thought Heroes of the Dorm was like such a cool idea.
Kwanzar, the captain of that team, came into University of Kentucky as a freshman for the first year of dorm, and now he's here as a senior. So he's really a big example of how a player can grow not only as a player, but as a person.
We used to raid a bunch together, and wow. Like we weren't the best, but you know, we tried to get better, and it was really fun doing that together. So then he told me at one point, he's like, honestly, a big part that I'm doing Heroes of the Dorm, and I don't know if you remember this, but you're like, is because we're probably not gonna have an opportunity like this again, right? Like, we're both getting older. Roger has a kid now, right? He has a wife. One of the big reasons that Roger did it, I think, was that so we could do this together, you know? And I'm really glad that we're able to do that together.
Get loud for Kentucky! There is, however, a group that stands in the way of Kentucky. Let's meet their challengers right now.
My name is Bruce. In game, I am NASDIP, and my major is IT computing.
My name is Patrick. I'm WUCA, and I'm studying to be a counselor, school counselor. So.
Hi, my name is Jerome, and my name is Hurt in game. And, I'm studying criminology.
My name is Simon, and my name in game is Electromath, and I study visual art.
My name is Daniel. In the game, I go by Airy Bob, and I'm studying medical physics in school.
So Laval, to me, they are very much the professionals. They've put in the hours, but as a team, they feel like the most cohesive unit.
I think we have no weak link in the team. Everyone is very strong mechanically, and we have Electro that is an incredible shot caller. Most of the team has become more vocal in the games, bringing information and trying to give Electro what he needs to make the right decisions. There is a lot of criticism that can be thrown around, but we don't take it personally because it's helped us reach this point, right?
They feel like what you would expect out of an amateur team trying to go pro.
They are absolutely stone cold serious about the game, ice in the veins. When they step on that stage, it's going to be business, all business. I don't think they're going to make a mistake.
We thought last year we almost made it, and we prepared to get there this year, and we're just happy to be there and enjoy at the moment.
Yeah. In our hearts, we already won. Like the goal was to get here, and we got here.
But we want to win, you know. But
Laval!
Bienvenue to Laval! This is is what we live for. Not only is college tuition on the line, but family dreams, pro gaming dreams, and we are sharing in that energy. Casters, can you feel it?
Oh, we can definitely feel it here on the desk, Anna. Thank you very much. These two teams have been titans in the entire tournament. Some of the best play we've seen has come right out of Lexington and Quebec City. Their stories are compelling, to say the very least. Both teams falling short of their expectations last year, but they're trying to make it right this time.
And you look at this match, and this match could be a grand final in and of itself. Many people look at this match as the winner that comes out of this likely to be the winner of the whole tournament. As the number 2 and number 3 seeds for Heroes of the Dorm, these are colossi teams within Heroes of the Dorm, but only one can go further.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing about this matchup is it's opening the tournament. It's opening the day. But it's also, it could not be two more distinct teams stylistically and the way they interact with each other. You have Kentucky, full of fire and vim and vigor, and they're so loud and energetic. And then you have Laval, chill, professional, business, ready to go. That's the kind of storyline that I love to see.
Fire and Ice are about to clash here in the first match of the semifinals, but let's take a look closer at Kentucky, the Band of Brothers. These guys love to joke around. They call themselves the meme team, but once they load on that battleground, it's all business. Zabatak, Roger that, Kwanzaa, Pickaboo, and Go Going. This team has been incredible to watch with their aggressive play.
I think the fact that the only team they've lost to so far is Laval will be a huge plus for this team because they will feed on the energy, the emotion. They want number 1, but they also want revenge, and I think we'll see that with an aggressive strategy in game number 1.
That change in strategy all comes down to our player to watch for this match. The charismatic captain, the leader that is Kwanzaa. I talked about how last year this team stole the hearts of Heroes of the Dorm fans. Kwanzaa is a huge part of that. You can see that in his interviews. Everyone looks to him as that leader, and he's the one who's going to have to propel them forward versus such a strong opponent.
I 100% agree. Kwanzaa, to me, really is an example of how Heroes of the Dorm can shape the collegiate experience. He came in as a freshman for the first Heroes of the Dorm, and by his own admission, the team didn't do that well, but through hard work and persistence, they continued to improve, and he evolved as a person and a player. We see that in his hard work ethic, and it shows in his leadership, but he's also very selfless. When asked what he would do what was the first thing he'd do if he did win Heroes of the Dorm, he said he'd hug his brother. His brother is the proud father of a newborn baby, and to be able to take the weight of college tuition off his brother's shoulders would mean the world to him.
Right. We didn't even know if Roger that would be able to come back again this year. He didn't know. But Kwanzaa told the story about after they came back from dorm last year, he was sitting in Roger that's driveway. And they were talking, are we going to do this again next year? Are we going to go through the rigorous training that's required? And Roger that said, if I do it again, it's not for 4th. They're here to win this tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that I can really appreciate is a team that from the moment, that humbling blow last year, they immediately knew, I want to come back and I want to win. And that hunger, that leads to the sort of dedication and hard work that I think these teams value so much that allowed them to reach this point.
For Kentucky to be able to make their dreams a reality, they're going to have to take down one of the strongest competitors in this entire tournament in the form of Laval University. Representing Mapletown, everyone from Canada is behind this team. We got Harry Blob, Wuka, Earth, Electromad, and Nesdip. These guys, we've called them time and time again the professionals. It's not just in their level of play, but they've also been scrimming some teams in the HGC, so they're coming out of the gate swinging.
Laval are a powerhouse. They don't really make mistakes at all. Yes, they've lost that one match, but it was earlier on. It was to UC Irvine, and they were willing to admit immediately the mistakes they made. They knew where the trouble happened. They knew that their drafting had to change, and it was a wake-up call for them. That's the cool thing about all the teams here is all of them have lost at least one match. They've had those wake-up calls.
And that's so important. I think if you look at our player to watch in this game, Earth, he really does anchor the team. When he plays that solo lane, he's so consistent and he's so aware of what he needs to do to provide space for his team and draw additional resources. And he was talking in an interview about how his defeat last year in the round of 8, when they wanted that heroic 4 spot so badly, how that has completely changed how they have focused and worked hard and studied to make it to this point in the tournament.
It's given them incredible drive, and they have the results to show for it. They're here at the Heroic 4. It's going to be Kentucky's calculated aggression taking on the macro play and precision of Laval. One thing that I love about Laval, the moment they get ahead in the match, they do not let it go. You are going to have a very few short amount of times to try to turn around if you fall behind. So Kentucky's going to have to play almost out of their minds near perfectly if they want to take this series.
Yeah, in fact, Laval mentioned that too when we talked to them. They said, Kentucky can't let us get a lead because we're never going to let it go if that's the case. So for Kentucky, that early game aggression has to pay off somehow.
I agree. I think Kentucky needs to come out swinging. In this matchup, they have the advantage of having stage experience.
Yes.
They've been to Heroic 4 before. That stage experience is so crucial in esports. We see it all the time. New player comes to their first LAN. It can be a struggle. You have to overcome those nerves and that extra energy. If Kentucky can utilize that experience to really strike the first blow in this match, I think it could be just absolutely game deciding.
Well, I really love the idea that game one is going to be on a battleground that, in my opinion, really encapsulates strengths of both of these teams in the form of Dragonshire. This is a battleground that has so much emphasis on rotations, macro play. If you go for the rotations, for the camps at the right moment, can you snowball the game? This is definitely Laval's comfort zone, but Kentucky loves to invade.
They do, and I think that is a opportunity here for Kentucky to take Laval off of their game. Earth will be on that island. He'll probably be in that solo lane on the top side of the map. He'll be strung there. What Kentucky needs to do is to utilize the fact that this map keeps Laval split and take the aggression to them.
I think one person we must keep our eyes on now that we know it's Dragonshire is Zabutak. Earth is the best solo laner in all of Heroes of the Dorm. He is phenomenal. He doesn't get ganked. Or it's very, very rare. He has such good map sense, and the whole team does. And they give that to Electromad, their captain, or their shot caller, who is so good at spotting what their opponents are looking to do, what they need to do. So Zabutak cannot get caught in that lane, and he needs to stand strong versus Earth.
Both of these teams have played at a level that we have not yet seen before at Heroes of the Dorm, and they've prepared weeks for this exact matchup. But we've been talking about their level of play. But another aspect to consider is that we're very much on the wild frontier. Decker Kane patch, that's what we're playing on. Decker could be picked. The meta, everything that's developed over the course of this tournament could change drastically just because of the patch that came out.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see if we do get a Deckard Cain, or if the teams who have, we can't forget, been also going to school, except for Laval, who got out earlier, and that might be another benefit for them. They've had some extra practice time. They may not have had time to fully integrate Deckard Cain into their drafts and how they want to play this game.
Well, both of these teams have had so much time to kind of go into their own corner, go back in the tank, think up the strategies they want to use, decide how they want to approach these matchups. And we were talking to them about it, and Kentucky and Laval have both spent all of this time preparing for this first match. They have their hearts set on winning this match. They think they can take the whole tournament home, and this match means everything to them.
This match means everything to them, but game one means everything. Momentum is going to be key. They talked about it for both teams. They really want to set the pace. We'll see if they can do it, though. Let's get started in this draft. You guys ready for this game? Dragonshire, a battleground, heavy emphasis on the solo lane. That definitely works in the favor of players like Earth, but Kentucky loves to go for those invades on the siege camp, so I think we're going to see action right out of the gate.
Action right out of the gate. We have that snap ban on the deep from Kentucky. They didn't even wait for you to finish, man. They're ready to go.
Well, one thing I loved about seeing them early in the tournament, Kentucky specifically, they did what I like to call the Kentucky two-step with Medivh, so I'm kind of surprised that they banned that hero out. Their ability to jump through the portal and make value off of a Twilight Dream is a full expression of trust, but they must have something else up their sleeve.
Support is another consideration between these two teams. Both of them have more emphasis on Malfurion. However, Peekaboo for Kentucky has not played Stukov throughout all of the bracket stage. It almost feels like the support for Laval is a little more flexible because we have seen him play Stukov even though Malfurion is his preference. So here Kentucky getting Malfurion for Peekaboo right from the start, it's got to be a good feeling for them.
It has to feel great, but I didn't expect Kentucky to come in with that much prioritization on Malfurion because they've shown that they're willing to adapt later in the draft with their other support picks. So this is interesting to me. It opened up the opportunity for Laval to actually ignore the support role entirely so far in the draft, pick up Garrosh and Hanzo, who have been just fantastic so far.
Well, Laval feels very comfortable in their support pool. They have not prioritized that at all, but I really actually like Malfurion being the first pick for Kentucky because they're an aggressive team. So when they go for those team fights, having the Twilight Dream, turning off the keyboards of your opponents, that's going to be value that really plays to their strengths. Going into the second round ban phase, though, we have the front line. Johanna, who's seen a ton of play in Heroes of the Dorm. That's a rising priority. I love to see that.
I think she only lost one game in all of the round of 8. Almost every single team here in the Heroic Four has a high priority and emphasis on Johanna, but Roger that has had that for a while. But I love those 2 picks for Laval. If their concern is early game aggression, just aggression in general from Kentucky, get someone who can throw you over the gates the minute you try to siege. Get someone who can easily take mercenary camps like the Hanzo and just keep that aggression away from you until you can out macro your opponents.
It's so hard to invade against a Garrosh on Dragonshire because every camp is right next to a fort in the early game, so it's absolutely deadly. Although I like the nod Kentucky has made to the importance of macro, especially in the early game here with the Johanna pick. You were mentioning it's so powerful early game, and it's just performed so well in Dorm. I think that's because of how much it enables your team to pick other heroes that don't need as much wave clear. You can roam, you don't fall behind on macro, and that's something we were talking about being very important for Kentucky against Laval.
You make such a good point, because with regards to this immediate matchup, they're going against one of the best teams to handle macro, so having that wave clear could definitely take some of the pressure off of them, particularly in the early game. I also like the Uther ban a lot. It's a two-pointed gesture, because it's saying, how deep is your hero pool really? But once we go in for the engage, we do not want to see the Divine Shield, and we're looking to send someone back to base, they're out of it.
That Uther is an interesting one, but it combos really nicely with Hanzo that you get the Divine Shield there, but it still leaves Stukov up as an option. That's going to be the choice. This is pre-Stukov and Malfurion nerfs, so it's going to be a more comfortable Stukov. And then, on top of that, getting Phoenix, that's a little bit of a denial away from what Kwanzar has been prioritizing, favoring. We might see him move back into his Gul'dan then, but getting Phoenix and Hanzo, that's a very strong first draft for Laval.
I am surprised. Stukov has been such a powerhouse in this whole tournament, and for him to go past the second ban phase, a lot of these teams were talking about how important it has been to prioritize supports before that second ban phase because of how powerful Malfurion and Stukov are. And they managed to get it after that second ban phase. So Kentucky, I think they have to have something up their sleeve here to deal with the Stukov.
I think they're going for the dive bomb strategy. In taking Johanna this early in the draft, they want that Iron Skin. They want the Unstoppable, so Johanna can walk through the silence of Stukov. And then Genji comes in long range with the E and then breaks out the Ginsu knife. He can have a good time. You're not worried about the silence at that point because you've immediately made your way to the back line.
And there they'll have Sonya who can add to that, diving in. Junkrat who can bring people to you, but also can stay back more safely and bring in the Riptide too, try to bring people in the same way. Wow!
Okay.
Hey.
Laval University, we've been commenting and complimenting his team's ability to just play standard Heroes of the Storm. So I thought we'd see a very standard meta-conscious draft, but you go for the Zeratul around things out, that's spicy.
And you know who also believed that Laval was going to play standard? Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky thought Laval was going to play standard, and I think picking Zeratul last year, who is such a roller coaster of a hero, that tells me that Laval is not feeling pressured at all on this stage, because you do not lock in Zeratul if you're not feeling comfortable.
Oh yeah.
I think that takes some of the fire out of Kentucky's overall playstyle. We've been talking about the importance of the solo lane on Dragonshire. Having a stealth hero that can burst you down like Zeratul, any solo laner venturing past the line of scrimmage is going to have a pretty tough time. Anytime you do not see Zeratul on the map, he's everywhere. You got to watch out for him all the time.
Yeah, you're also going to have to watch out, though, for the Zeratul, for those Genji flanks, too. Having Sonya be up in the top lane, probably, yeah, definitely. Junkrat's going to be sad if Zeratul ever leaves, but having the Genji continually try to rotate up, help out that Sonya, too. Maybe trying to keep the Zeratul there if you can't even get ganks should help to make that wave clear of the Junkrat and the Johanna get more done in the bottom.
Well, that's my concern, is that you have the Junkrat Johanna for Kentucky, but then there's just not much wave clear to answer that from Laval. And they have been so focused on taking control of the macro game, getting their camps on time, always being one little step ahead of their opponents, just in terms of how fast they're playing the game. With little wave clear, you can fall behind so easily. So it's going to take a lot of skill to leverage that Zeratul effectively in the solo lane while not falling behind in pressure on the rest of the map.
We're about to find out. Game one's getting started. We're going to pass you over to our casters, Inverim and the Source. Inverim, you ready for this matchup?
I'm so very ready. This first game is going to be epic. Source, these two drafts, they're coming out of the gate swinging.
It's an interesting style, a little bit of a swap. We were talking about this just before, about how this is a little different than both of these teams. But I gotta say, these are two great teams to have. We've got Kentucky, the last team, in my opinion, with a legitimate claim to the Heroes of the Dorm throne. But will they be overthrown by the boys from the north?
We're gonna find out if they can do it. Let's get into game number 1. Burbank, make some noise. It is Kentucky taking on Laval. Let's get into it. Our first game here in the semifinals for Heroes of the Dorm 2018. Source, take us away.
All right, over on the left side, we've got the members of Kentucky. Scratch 'em, Kwanzaa on that Junkrat, Zabatak on the Sonya, Roger that on the Johanna, Peekaboo on Malfurion, and Going on the Kenya.
And over on the other side in the red trunks, we have Laval, Université Laval, the Rouge AO. We have Earth on Phoenix, Harry Blob on Stukov, Electromad on Garrosh, Wuka on Zeratul, and Nesdip playing Hanzo.
So, first things to think about. The lack of wave clear from the side of Laval, but Phoenix can kind of fit that role, which means I expect us to see a huge amount of rotation. We already see Phoenix up in the top. So it's not even going to be a traditional top lane. It's going to be lots of rotating, lots of movements just to counter out the Johanna.
I love this. Starting things off, we always talk about how crisp, how clean, how precise Laval is. They like to play a standard macro game, but they're coming out of the gate swinging in game number 1 with aggression. They're already setting up some cheeky play. That Zeratul, it's going to be it's something we have to watch all game long.
They're also going to have to slowly worry about the Junkrat just over time. I want to see how well they rotate with Nesdip on the Hanzo, how much pressure they can put on the camp like Dunk Drain was talking about, because they have been known to be this team that is one step ahead. With the combination they're running, it's going to take a little bit more finesse for them to find those moments, because they're running what is essentially a 1-2-2 instead of being able to rotate significantly, and Roger that can keep control of the Tribe Rush. We could start to see Laval fall behind, which isn't common.
It's not common indeed, and Kentucky, when we were talking to them, they said they want to get ahead in game number 1. They want to set the precedent here in this semifinal game, because if they can take it to Laval, they have experience on this stage. They know that they have an advantage potentially when it comes to keeping calm up here in this high-pressure scenario, because don't forget, these players have been playing for months. There's been years of work put into this, and it all comes down to this moment on this stage.
So Laval already moving like clockwork, picking up their siege camp. Instantly, Nesdip flipped over the wall. They're already done with it before their opponents. So a little bit ahead of the game, even though they're not wave clearing the same way. They're keeping the Phoenix up in the top lane. Eventually, that's going to slowly become a problem as Zabatak starts to put significant pressure on that lane. But for now, it should be okay. So let's see how much of an advantage they can get. Oh, Woka almost got that sneaky Dragon Knight.
That would have been one of the earliest dragons we have seen yet in Heroes of the Dorm, but Kentucky very smartly going to put the pressure up here in the top onto that shrine. And we have to talk about the poke coming out from Laval. Hanzo is going to be a factor in these long, drawn-out fights. Of course, Peekaboo on that Malfurion is very adept at dealing with that. And then on the other side, Kwanzaa, we know he's a playmaker, and if there's any hero, we know it's going to make some plays. It's going to be Junkrat.
It seems like these Overwatch heroes are just good at poking. You know?
Yeah.
It comes down to one thing for me, is how well the placements are going to be on the Explosive Mine and how much pressure that puts on Zeratul when he's trying to make plays in the backline. Once we get closer to Heroics, it'll be a little bit different. But toward those early mid games, that level 7 fight, if we see Kentucky move away from what has been a very clean, slow start to this game, how much aggression can they bait out of Laval?
That's going to really be the question here, too, because Laval, they like to generally play, again, a little bit more conservative, but this is a draft that just screams, we're going to want to fight, and that plays into Kentucky. But again, the idea of baiting in this aggression from Laval here, and we're already seeing Electromad saying, you know what, we appreciate the fact that you can wave clear, we appreciate the fact that you can rotate, but I'm Garrosh. I can throw you out of position any day of the week.
Again, she's holding the top lane, puts a little bit of pressure on the Phoenix. Going goes in. Here's Wuka, and Going might be in trouble.
Go gone up there in the top lane, and that is our first blood here in the semi-final match. The rotation came in, but was not quite able to execute in Laval with their calm, collected coordination, having that shot calling, instantly collapsing onto that, and that was exactly what they needed to do here in game number 1.
It was the right call. Oh, Kwanzaa, and Kwanzaa's got... Is this the pick? Is this what Wuka has been hiding? The entire time that Laval's played the slow and steady, the glacier style of play, maybe they've just been hiding the ability to just turn it up to 11.
Well, we know that they've been playing with some HGC teams. You know, they've been scrimming. They have had 2 weeks to take it back to the drawing board, to come up with some new strategies, and we are seeing it executed here in game number 1. And executing their opponents is what is happening right now. Electromad, though, going to take a bit of pressure there in the mid lane, not able to pick up this early game Dragon Knight. Level 7 is going to be here as well for Kentucky in just a second. I like the fact that Kentucky is not allowing Laval to get too much of a lead here in the early game, because we talked about it time and time again. If you give Laval a lead, they will not let go.
mean, they've already got that little bit of lead despite having not done their Knights camp yet. They haven't done their Bruisers. They got that all off of those picks. And Wuka looking for a little bit of a duel with Going. It's getting close here. We're going to see how this plays out.
We're going to see how it is.
Nope.
Oh, he's tagging in his teammate there. Earth's like, I got you, bud. It's no problem. Not going to get any silly deaths here in the early game in terms of going out for crazy 1v1s. Of course, they're up on this stage. They want to show off a little bit. They also want to win. Laval, though, controlling both of these shrines, starting this off. It feels like Kentucky, they're on the back step. Kwanzaa needs to get in here. He needs to start to find some of these crucial displacements.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen an explosive mind hit a heroic target. So far it has just been, let's play the wave clear game and let's get to 10. And then at that point, we'll feel we have the tools to be able to open things up. But Roger, that gets flipped in, and there is no Unstoppable, no Iron Skin. He's gone.
He is just gone. Electromad with that flag. He knew exactly who he was going for. The poke damage setting them up, buttering up the opposing team. Kentucky not expecting just such a calm intro.
Again!
No! Zabutak on the back, forced right out again. Earth and Wuka, this Zero tool is always going to be a threat. Going's like, I'm a Genji. I'm here too.
I mean, they were leaning Going up towards the top half of the map. When he originally died, he was really just anchoring a route to save him. Going goes over the wall. Wuka's still feeling this one. He'll get healed up and get out of that for the moment. But Laval is putting pressure all around the map, and this is a whole new side of them that they can both play aggressive and slow, and I haven't seen a lack of calculation. First Dragon Knight is in for Laval, and they are going to extend their lead with heroics just around the corner.
Electromad saying, get away from my Dragon Knight. Let's get this rolling. Level 10 is here. The heroics are on board. Let's see what they can do with them. As you said, they are getting pressure across the battleground right now. They are looking so clean, just showing that, hey, you know what? Our macro involves calculated aggression, and Source, you're pointing at something right now. What is that I see?
I see a planet cracker.
You see a planet cracker here in game number 1 of this semifinal. That tells me that Laval is feeling confident. What can they do with this? Because they're going to try and crack open the shell that is Kentucky and say, hey, we have got your number here in game number 1.
Well, they're already putting on really good... What? Just... Okay, planet cracker from the top to cut off the retreat, put in some damage, and finish off Malfurion before we even have time to see it.
That is not ideal at all. Laval is getting killed before we can even blink right here. But now, Kentucky has the ability to rally. They have their own heroics. They're not too far behind yet. They're only not even down a fort yet at this stage. Kentucky not out of this yet by any means.
Laval went for spread out as much damage as you can, soak up as much experience as possible. They've given themselves a very, very heavy level advantage, and they'll be looking for their fight around 13. But just being willing to make that cross-map planet cracker play, just like from mid lane into the bottom, that's really where we're starting to see Planet Cracker actually find value. It's not about getting the whole team, although it's beautiful when you do. It's about cutting off retreats and zoning and controlling a portion of the fight. They'll be able to take away that Bruiser camp in the bottom, give themselves a little bit of extra pressure, at least forcing people to clear it out. Phoenix in the top does the same, and now it's a full court press from Laval.
It's all about that control, whether it be in that garage, whether it be with the Phoenix, controlling how these fights take place, not allowing Kentucky to be in control, because that's where Kwanzaa wants to be. He wants to be the ones forcing out these movements from Laval. He wants to be the ones forcing out these wonky rotations, but that's not being the case thus far. Laval has been in full control from the start of this game.
Setting up an invade. I don't know if they really want to take that into a Johanna. They're really just posturing, keep some pressure on, make sure that nobody can rotate up to put more pressure on the Phoenix while that Bruiser camp gets pressure and value in the top.
And it's really all about getting this pressure and keeping up this pressure. Level 13 is here, a 2-level lead coming in now at this stage of the game. That is not insurmountable, but it does mean that Laval is in the position where they feel comfortable.
Stab attack, you've made a mistake!
You have made a mistake going on Earth. Wuka is there as well, but Genji is joining the fray, so we do have that Void Prison going down, but Electromad is here, and there's the taunt, the fall!
Oh, that blink! And throw it back in!
That was
alley-oop.
Wow, but they're going in on this Roger that does not want this to be over. They're trying to find Earth here. We have the Riptire trying to find the execution. And there it is! The counter kill from Kentucky saying, we will not go gently into this. Good night.
I don't know. I'm still on that alley-oop. That was beautiful. Line it all up, put the Planet Cracker down, but Kentucky is still battling back, and now we're starting to get a little scrappy. That wasn't that coordinated of a re-engage off of the Void Prison. You could have disengaged that a little bit. You could have walked away. Laval felt they could take the fight, and wow, another objective.
Oh man, this is exactly where Laval wants to be. Kentucky just not quite there in time to find that. But it is going to be Laval now pushing in. They have this Dragon Knight and already prioritizing this bottom lane, as you would expect. But level 13, just around the corner here from Kentucky. They get this 1 kill. They're going to try and bring themselves back into this game, but Laval is making that very difficult.
Yeah, it has been a very fast acceleration from both teams. Again, like I was saying, it's a little scrappy. It's not as clean as we've seen Laval's team fighting before. It's about Kentucky's pace, but they're not finding the opportunities we expect from them. Zabatak on the back line has popped Wrath the Berserker, is looking for an opportunity, steps forward, finds Electromad, and everyone's willing to just walk away from that one. They'll pinch onto the Dragon Knight, but Zeratul going to have a good time. So, I mean, a Heroic wasted, pretty low cooldown, it's not that big a deal, but that would have been an opportunity.
That would have been an opportunity, and was one Kentucky needed to exploit. Level 16 is almost here from Laval. Kentucky knew, they identified, we need to fight before 16 is here, and Laval, as is their trademark, says, that's fine, we'll just back. We don't need to take this fight, and so we won't. They are not afraid to let this Dragon Knight time out. They got a fort, they got a little bit of advantage, but this is the Laval. Their ability to have aggression, and also have this calculation, pull it back, play their macro game. This is another level we have yet to see from them.
It is a bit of a saving grace, though, that the Dragon Knight was running during this time frame, so they don't have to worry about a 16-plus Dragon Knight play from Laval. They've got a little bit of time. They do still need to look for another opportunity, but they got about 2 minutes of space before they're going to be under any serious pressure to have to deal with the objective. They do have to worry about Genji being caught out because Wuka has been everywhere, always scouting out, always waiting at the proper angle to be able to make a play. They're going to force the a couple of members of Kentucky to come down and meet them, but it's only really Kwanzaa, and they don't realize all of Val is just waiting.
They're waiting here in this bush. The party bush is very real. Wuka being that scout. Laval, they said, you know what? Well, we see the map on 2 sides. We'll take our side of the map, we'll paint it our color. And then, hey, there's stuff for us to do on the other side. We'll go right over there and we will take your objectives. We will make them our own. And they are doing that right now, getting pressure into this bot lane, already getting pressure onto this keep. Kentucky is trying to get value across the map up top, but this is definitely in favor of Laval right now. This keep is under threat. They have level 16. This is Laval looking confident.
They're also comfortable keeping Phoenix at that odd angle because they're using that zoning planet cracker. They're looking for those angles. You've got going, looking for the flank, but decides to not take that fight.
Not take that fight. It's not really where we want to be right now. We'll rain check later, but they may not have that opportunity as the Dragon is spawning. There's the DP going in. Wuka with the initiation. Roger that and crew, but Electromad is there. The Dragon Arrow is going.
Oh, they whiffed it!
They whiffed it, and there's the silence. The taunt, though, is still going to find Junkrat. Wuka is in full retreat. Zabatak on the flank still trying to go in. That is the plan.
I don't know.
Zabatak is there, but I'm not sure they can do this now. So many resources have been committed from the side of Laval. They're getting barrel those Wukas dropping. There we go. Electromad now in full retreat. We have Earth trying to join in this fight. Nesdip as well, and it is Zabatak leading the charge, but no, overextending is going to drop to a 2-for-1 trade right now from Kentucky. That was not clean from Laval.
No, the minor misstep on the arrow, that would have been perfect. That would have been 2 targets stunned. Clearly, they've been prepping this combination. They're like, we've seen Planet Cracker work with Leoric. What else can we do with it? And the setups are good. It feels like a lot of the old Ring VP Wombo combos we're used to seeing. But that minor misstep, if the Genji had gotten a slightly better angle, if Garrosh goes down, possibly there's a reset, possibly Phoenix is then under serious pressure, that could have spiraled out of control. So Laval, don't pump the brakes, but at least check the mirrors.
A little bit there. I'm not sure if maybe Hans was under some threat there, not able to pull that off, but either way, we've seen that Laval can breathe. That was what Kentucky needed to get back into this game. They have not yet lost a keep. They have level 16, despite the fact that, again, Laval is so strong when from ahead. Kentucky has rallied into this late game. They are not out of this. They're saying, look, Laval, we can go toe-to-toe.
Yeah, don't give Kentucky a team fight if you're Laval. Don't give them the opportunity. Another thing to note that we didn't really get too much into the draft. Roger that on Johanna. Don't give this man Johanna. He played it 6 times over the course of top 64 till here. Why would you hit into to him again?
I'm not 100% sure from Laval. Clearly, they're not saying, yeah, that's not the threat we're looking for here.
But it's comfort.
Oh, it is comfort.
We're starting to see Kentucky get a little comfortable. We started to see a little bit with going on that Genji coming in from those angles. The beginning of this game, Laval, Kentucky looked a little shook.
I mean, hey, we're up here. It's the Heroes of the Dorm. It's the round, we're up here. It's the Final Four. It's the, on stage in front of this crowd. People are getting a little bit nervous here, but Laval, they've actually shown that they are also quite confident. But it is Nesdip under pressure right now, forcing him off, though. And going, looking for that flank. Plus shield going in as well, finding Zeratul with the toss out from Electromad and the reinitiation there. Nice save there coming in from the side of Laval. They are looking calm here up on the stage. Electromad is playing like a beast.
It may not be Stitches, but you can always lend your teammates a helping hand. Get him out of trouble, keep him safe. It also gives Zeratul a disengage he normally doesn't have, so it's a nice little combination. One thing to note, though, over the course of this entire game, Laval has been the one to control the objective. They have put more, we think of, shots on goal. These are essentially shots on goal. These are attempts to get that objective. They've been in complete control of that, and they're the only ones who've gone for any attempt to get control of that, and we see Kentucky just responding. We need to see Kentucky either find a very aggressive team fight or manage to out-macro Laval, and that's a pretty tall task.
That is a tall order indeed. If I'm the side of Kentucky, I want to fight, because that is where we have seen Laval falter. Again, they just want to play this conservative safe. When they look for this initiation, yeah, they're going to, but they want to do it on their terms. Kentucky needs to force it right now, and Nizip is the target. The taunt, the follow-up is there. Will they get...
Oh, the angle!
He's able to get himself out of there. No, nice save, and that is Genji still going to fall. Not quite able to disengage from that fight, though. Beautifully done. Having the Planet Cracker, that cross-map pressure is here, but Electromad wants more. Ruka is going as well. The Dragon Arrow, the Ice Blast! Nicely done, but it is Rush that's still going to fall. Electromad being pushed in as well. Then the route, the follow-up. Can they find this kill? Electromad info retreat, the flailing swipe will disengage, and there it is, Laval. 2 clean kills. A beautiful attempt from Malfurion, but it was not quite enough.
This style of Planet Cracker, I think, is so unique, but also it makes so much sense. It's just geometry. If you cut off portions of the map, you cut off the angles. Hanzo's not the only one who can do math.
Yeah, he's got clearly more simple geometry going on right now as we are pushing in here onto this bottom keep. They are looking for it. The Dragon Knight is in full health. They are pressuring in here onto the core. They may look to end this. They have the siege camp as well. They are looking for blood right now. 20-17. They have the Storm Talontier advantage as they are looking to engage here. Going as target, trying to retreat under Earth in the backline, though, able to get himself out. They're splitting the fight. Genji is so far out. Going. They've split the fight. One more auto. No, cannot find it. As they're pushing in onto the core, it is starting to drop now. There it is. They are going in.
They're buying a lot of time, though.
To fall. There's the taunt. The Dragon Knight, though, is still hitting the core. Can they stop this? Will it be enough? Kentucky needs to rally. It is getting so low, 20% and dropping. That is going to be it. GG, Laval take game number 1.
I was hoping to see some fireworks out of this first game, and we got exactly that, but not from the team I was expecting. Going into this, we said it's a matter of fire and ice. I think what we just saw out of Laval there is that they can bring the heat too.
And when we talked to Kentucky, they said, first of all, the first game was so important. If they won the first game, they felt 80-20 that they'd be able to win it. But also that Laval comes in with this aggressive composition. Kentucky felt like they were the better adaptation team, and that Laval, if things go to Laval's plans, they're going to win it. That was things going to perfect plan for Laval.
And Kentucky is going to need to adapt to that. They have to respond to the shift in style we've seen from Laval this game. That was just excellent aggressive play. The usage of the Zeratul to control the macro elements of the map, putting that Phoenix in the solo lane, which is a little unusual. All of that stuff really felt like it kept Kentucky off guard. We never saw them cross the middle of the map. They could not make any plays happen on Laval's side of the map, and they are going to need to get that aggression going in games moving forward in order to have a shot in this match.
They need aggression and they need the rally. Can they turn things around from game number 2? We're going to find out. Don't go anywhere. We're taking a short break. More action yet ahead. Welcome back to the Heroes of the Dorm Heroic 4. We just saw Laval take down Kentucky in game number 1, and that could be quite the pickle for Scratch'em. In talking to them, they said that they really wanted to establish the momentum going into game 1. Without taking that victory, they're going to have to dig deep to turn it around.
I think right now it's important for Kentucky to remember what got them here, the play style that got them here, because Laval did something different, that is true, but Kentucky still had a good draft, but they played pretty passively, especially once a couple of picks started coming in. They played scared, and that is not how you can play here if you're going to defeat Laval.
I agree. I feel like what happened there is Laval came out swinging, and they put Kentucky on the back foot, but then Kentucky was like, okay, now let's play Laval style, and you can't do that. You cannot take your opponent's style and beat them with it when they've just put you on the back foot. So they need to get back to playing their game.
They very well might be able to do that. They are poised to do exactly that. On the next battleground, it's going to be Infernal Shrines, my personal favorite battleground to cast. But Kentucky, with their aggressive play, with that singular call to action, they might be able to rotate and finally get that full 5v5 team fight that they excel at and try to turn this around.
This is the map I was most looking forward to between these two teams because there are things that can benefit both of their playstyles if they're playing how we expect them to play. You gotta have good macro game, and that's where Laval can excel. You gotta be able to fight over the shrines. That's what we hope to see from Kentucky this time.
Absolutely, and I think this map is just so well balanced between the different styles. Any team on this should be well versed on this map. Any team, pro level, dorm level, you can all know this map well and play it well. So this is really gonna be a test. You know, we got through the Dragonshire. It's a little unconventional. We saw Zeratul, pretty weird. So now we'll go back to a standard Infernal Shrines, 3 lanes. Let's play the game, boys.
I think that we could see Kentucky get a #1 in the win column for them. The draft is ready to go. I really want to see Johanna not picked for Kentucky. I get it. On this battleground as well, you get the wave clear, you can steal away some of the defenders, but at no point did we really see the Johanna be able to engage and set up plays for the rest of their team.
I agree. That's definitely a big failing of Johanna, is that she just lacks that snap engage potential. And while it has served Kentucky well so far, I think they need to look to other potential strategies that can maybe let them be a little more decisive in the early game so they don't hand that lead to Laval. Because we were talking about how Laval will take your lead and run with it. You just can't give them an inch to start.
We're seeing the Malfurion first pick again. I still think that that is just indicative of how highly prioritized the support pool is for Kentucky. But what I'm hoping to see from this map too is that Kentucky gets more 5v5 fights. In the skirmishes that took place, wow, that's a combo. In the skirmishes that took place in the last game, Kentucky didn't look as coordinated as we generally see from them in team fights, and I really do feel like that's because, you know, Go-Going was always in the mid, having to take care of the Dragon Knight position. Zabutek was really scared in the top because of a constant Zeratul flanks. Here, hopefully they can get some more aggression in, and there you go. We've got a different warrior. Should fare Kentucky better.
Yeah, saw some rigidity at the start of the draft with the Medivh ban. First pick Malfurion yet again, but now we're starting to see adjustments. And in my opinion, these are the ones that they need to make. ETC, Power Slide, Mosh Pit, potentially even Stage Dive, that the global presence. But Greymane is going to be the exclamation point in team fights that get those takedowns that Kentucky were not able to close out last game.
I agree. I think this will suit Kentucky a lot better, but it concerns me that Diablo Hanzo has just been so devastating. The synergy between those heroics is unbelievable, and Diablo, this is the map he's known for. When he first crept into pro play, it was on this map. The walls on the shrines are so painful.
Yes, that percent base damage is going to be a lot of trouble once you get post 13 with the devastating charge. Globes, there's a ton of globes on this battleground, which makes Devils Do an awesome option for him. And that combo of the Dragon's Arrow into APOC, there's a lot of chokes too, where you could catch many members of the opposing team. So it's a great 2 picks together, and that is really another good draft from them, just like the Garrosh Hanzo before. Laval is making powerful moves with these 2 picks.
You make a really good point, because with this Diablo pick, Laval look to give us some stakes going for this ETC if they're able to get the engagement that they look for, but they go back to the Well of Stukov. Had such an impact. Not only an engagement and shutting down the advance of Kentucky, but we also saw the flailing swipe to say, hey, all right, we got our kills, the fight's over, we're backing out. Being able to have that when you are really strong at the macro play is sensational to use in this situation.
This draft kind of strikes me as Kentucky maybe a little off-kilter. I feel like the Zeratul ban is, we were really rocked by this last game, and so now we have to adapt. And while they do have a little more aggressive frontline with the ETC Greymane, the Malfurion is good, but they kind of just let Laval have Stukov again. It's been a toss-up.
I agree. I remember when we talked to Kentucky, they said we aren't afraid to ban something that we just feel is a wild pick that we haven't adjusted to. So I feel like that's what they're doing here. But even in the last game, they banned Uther over Stukov. Uther was not a very highly prioritized support pick from Laval, and although that Uther would have maybe helped get keep someone safe from a Genji all-in, it's still not being able to deny the Stukov after getting the Malfurion seems off to me too.
I 100% agree. I do like the adjustments that Kentucky has been able to make with the Blaze to round things out. They'll have some more sustain, and they also have the Greymane for the added damage. I also love the Gul'dan pick. This is a hero that Kwanzaa does a really good job on. If they want to turn it around, I think they got the draft that they were looking for.
I think the stronger, heftier double frontline should help Kentucky control space a little better. It's always tough when your second frontliner is squishy or stuck in the solo lane, but because the ETC Blaze are both packing such heavy disruption tools, I think there's a better chance for them to control the space effectively against Diablo, so I really like that less rotation.
Even Horrify and Twilight Dream too, I think it just comes down to how many people get hit by that combo, because if a Dragon's Era comes out, the Apox underneath it, and then you have the Silence of Stukov underneath that, they're never going to get the chance to use those kinds of abilities to even disrupt what's coming at them from Laval.
My concern for Kentucky is that anytime that they tried to engage, they were not able to get the takedown that they were looking for. Being a team that weighs themselves on calculated aggression, not being able to get those takedowns, not being able to dictate the terms, it seems to be a pretty big struggle for them. They've gone for a more offensive composition this go around, and I think that's going to help them out. But as far as keeping your mind concerned about the whole best of 5, if they lose this game as well, we could see shattered confidence.
And don't forget, when you add a Tassadar to that combo, then all of a sudden you have the makeshift walls with the charge into it. This is a beautiful composition for Laval. I'm scared for Kentucky.
Well, we're about to find out. Game number 2 is ready. Hope you guys are excited here in the audience. And Virm, you pumped up for this match?
Oh, we are. After game number 1, this is Kentucky's chance to rally Source. You're smiling. You like both these drafts. I'm so ready.
I'm glad to see Zap attack on the Blaze, give him something to follow up with, give him a little bit more oomph on the play. But as soon as I saw that Tassadar, I was just jumping. I saw the Hanzo, I saw the Diablo. I was like, give me the Tass. I'm jumping up and down. I'm excited because the walls, the combos, the way you can cut off angles, after what we just saw with the Phoenix, I think they can pull it off.
Let's see if they can. Let's get into game number 2 for Heroes of the Dorm, the semifinal. Let's get it underway. Source, let's get into it.
All right, over on the left side, we've got the boys from Kentucky. Let's see if they can rally back. It's going to be Kwanzaa on the Gul'dan, Zab attack on his Blaze, Roger that on the ETC, Peekaboo on the Malfurion, and Going will be on the Greymane.
And over on the other side in the red trunks, it is Laval looking to get game number 2 here in their pocket. It is going to be Earth on Sonya, Harry Blob on Stukov, Electromad on Diablo, Wuka on Hanzo, and Nesdip playing Tassadar.
Going Genji, Going Greymane. As long as you give the guy a character with a G in the name, I think we're good.
I mean, he's 0 for 1 so far, so let's see if he can turn it around here in game number 2. As we see the strong front coming out of the gate here for Kentucky. They have the ability to get picks. They have the ability to sustain. They have good wave clear. This draft can do a lot, but Laval, their ability to make plays here, you can't say enough about it.
They pretty much match Kentucky in terms of wave clear and ability to find picks off rotation. Both have got a good hard engage off the Diablo and the Blaze. You've also got ETC on the other side. You've got Sonya with the Spear. There's multiple opportunities for both of them to take fights. And to be honest, neither has a real giant macro advantage in my opinion. So because of this, I expect we are going to see a very bloody game.
I expect, or I hope for the same. Let's put it that way. I hope both these teams are going to come out and fight here in game number 2, because if you are Kentucky and you're coming off of that loss in game number 1, you need to take it to Laval here. Do not let them get a lead in this early game. You need to be the one setting the pace here. And Roger that is going to be the man on the front line looking to do exactly that.
Doing the same thing he did in the last game. Johanna, he was looking at the Tribush to cut off rotations, already on ETC, looking for a similar play. They're thinking about Electromad. They get the slide. They get a root. That's going to be first blood coming in for Kentucky.
That was exactly what they needed to do. Kentucky striking first blood here in game number 2. As I said, Roger that's looking for a pick, and he found it.
Good opportunity. Go instantly into the camps. Cut off the lifeblood that is Laval. Camps, macro, rotations. Get all of that away from them, and you start to slow them down in a way that they are not used to, especially after we just saw them kick up an aggressive pace style. Being able to change gears like that is important for a team, but it's also very difficult when it's not something you're in control of.
Not in control, and a lot of these teams can feel like they're not in control in these situations, especially when they're thrust out of their comfort zones. But Kentucky, they said, hey, we have the ability to rally. We know what it's like to lose games on the stage. And I think of any team to go down in game number 1, Kentucky is the team who can come back and rally in game number 2.
Also, up against Laval, you have to think about how much can you actually convert off an objective. That was a 2-camp conversion off of a kill. Normally, Laval, you don't get anything. Even if you find the kill, like the kill normally doesn't come through. So this is a good moment for Kentucky to take stock of how they just did what they did, start to look for the repeat, start to find more opportunities, and then from there, they'll find the comfort that they seem to be lacking in game 1. Question is Laval gonna let them get comfortable? Because Laval isn't a team to let you kick your feet up.
They are not that indeed, but it is Kentucky not letting Laval get safe here, as they are going to be pushing in. They are getting every camp on the battleground right now. Kentucky are the ones keeping the pressure up. They are macroing like beasts here in game number 2. This is what we praise Laval for, and Kentucky is saying, we can do this too. We have been putting in the practice, putting in the work, but can they team fight here with this composition? The Shrine is spawning, and Laval is going to look to brawl.
Yeah, and the rotation's already in favor of Kentucky. So we're starting... Honestly, I think Laval caught Kentucky sleeping a little bit. They hadn't really woken up. It's the middle of the day, but it is a different thing when you're going to step onto that stage. So in this opportunity, we finally start to see Kentucky take pace of the game, take control, again, moving around with those cams, moving around with that pressure. They've already got advantage on the skeletal defenders. They are all 5 here, and we are seeing Laval do what the pro teams do in the right situation. They're giving the objective, and they're going to get value the rest of the night.
They are getting value elsewhere. I was completely wrong. They're like, no, we don't need to fight at all. Let's just sit back, relax. Let's give them this first Punisher here to start things off. And as